मन के अंधकार को दूर करे वचनामृत से तव बोध कृपा। गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा।
Harsha, we can't hear you.
Swami, you can't hear?
Now I can.
Okay, yeah. Hari Om, everybody. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. A very warm welcome on day 2 of Life and Management Talks. A very interesting conversation between Devarshi Narada and Raja Yudhishthira. And to decode this beautiful talk, Swami Mitrananda is there here with us today. So first, we will start with an invocation. The invocation is done by Kumari Harini. She is a student of Chinmay Vidyalaya, Taylor's Road. And over to you, Harini.
Hari Om. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. नारायणाय सगुण ब्रह्मणे सर्वपारायणाय शोभनमूर्तये नमो। नारायणाय सगुण ब्रह्मणे सर्वपारायणाय शोभनमूर्तये नमो। नमो नारायणाय, नमो नारायणाय, नमो नारायणाय, नमो नारायणाय। वेंकटराय पात्रीत कामिदान्त प्रदाय, वेंकटराय दात्रीस कामिदान्त प्रदाय। गोत्रबिम्बनिरुचिरगात्राय रविचन्द्र नेत्राय शेषाद्रि निलयाय ते नमो। गोत्रबिम्बनिरुचिरगात्राय रविचन्द्र नेत्राय शेषाद्रि निलयाय ते नमो। नमो नारायणाय, नमो नारायणाय, नमो नारायणाय, नमो नारायणाय। नारायणाय सगुण ब्रह्मणे सर्वपारायणाय शोभनमूर्तये नमो। Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Harini. Today is day 2, and we're all very excited to hear about the conversation. And yesterday, Swamiji had given us 3 questions what were asked. Out of all the 3, the one thing that hit, I think, me the most was like, how do you check what action to do? So don't do any self-insulting actions. So without further ado, let's just jump into the session today and listen to much more pearls of wisdom that Swamiji is going to offer. Over to you, Swamiji.
Samasta jana kalyane niratham karunamayam namami chinmayam devam satgurum brahmavitparam. My salutations to everybody. Continuing from where we stopped yesterday, one of the questions Rishi Narad asks of Raja Yudhishthir is, do you find happiness without making your mind suffer? And does your mind find pleasure in Dharma? That was the first question. Is your mind finding pleasure in practicing Dharma? That was one of the questions. The first question was, how are you spending your wealth? Second question is your mind finding pleasure in dharma? Third, in pursuit of happiness when you go, is your mind suffering? I read a Jnaneshwari by Sant Jnanadev, one of the examples on the sattvic guna or sattvic happiness. He says, if you take a fish out of water, how desperate the fish would be to get back to water. Similarly, he's comparing it, saying, same kind of restlessness one will find if one is removed away from sense objects. If you take away the sense organs from sense objects, the restlessness what a fish would feel, only that way a person would feel. Meaning, so dependent we are on the sense objects that we struggle about it. Sattvic pleasure or harmless pleasure is that which would benefit us in the long run, which any time, any number of times we involve ourselves in it, it is not going to harm us. It would rather strengthen us better. But there are certain things which comes in the beginning, could be of great enticement, but in the long run, it hurts us badly. So Narad is asking, how is your sense management? And another thing what he meant again here is the question of being what you call as practicing dharma. It is not easy to find pleasure in practicing dharma is not easy. Once you are practicing dharma, there could be hardships. Are you able to withstand that? Because going by adharmic ways, it is so easy to find anything you want. Shortcut, adharmic, people may get it instantly. But something which is of greater value, if it has to serve us, then it takes time. So that is again another point we need to keep in mind. The sattvic pleasure or practicing dharma. See, when the churning of the ocean happened, the poison also came out. Before the nectar could come, the poison came out. And it was a person like Shiva who took it. It was really hard, but in the beginning, we should keep that in mind. Shiva took the hard thing in the beginning so that everybody benefited in the end. Similarly, the hard work in the beginning is very important. Even if it is hard, there is not much joy. Go and establish yourself in that. Therefore, establish yourself in dharma. Therefore, the rewards are always a blessing. The journey is interesting if a seeker can find joy in practicing dharma. In practicing dharma, there is joy. Not in the result. Result is not in your control. Result may come as you want, it may not come. But my dharma is to do and I do my best. Whether people appreciate it, whether people take it or no, start enjoying practicing dharma. And once we find joy in practicing dharma, the worldly stuff would not bother. Then even the initial hardships would be nothing but beautiful results in the end. Sattvic pleasure is harmless. We should seek that. It could be creative pleasure born out of creativity, pleasure born out of music, dance, art, pleasure born of seeing the nature, reveling in it, watching insects crawl, a butterfly fly. There are thousands of ways of being happy. The Lord keeps exhibiting himself. That is called Satyam, Shivam and Sundaram. Sundaram, he manifests as beauty. So once he is there, that beautiful Lord all around, we can be happy that way. Find that sattvic joy so that we are never harmed by the rajas and the tamasic joy. Continuing, now we go to the next question. Narad is asking, Are you taking care, Raja Yudhishthir? Are you taking care of the undecaying actions followed by your grandparents, ancestors before you, to bring dharma and artha to the humanity? Your parents, your forefathers, your ancestors lived a very noble life and did everything to see that dharma and artha are brought to the people, to the public. The king, his father, his forefathers, if you go that way, his ancestors. Narada is asking Yudhishthir, your ancestors did that brilliantly. What did your ancestors do? They brought dharma and artha to the public. They brought dharma and artha to their subjects, made sure that prosperity was there based on dharma. From dharmic values, wealth came. Hindu module for progress is module called Lakshmi Narayan. This is a very, very ancient Hindu module for development and progress. This module is called Lakshmi Narayan. Lakshmi, goddess of prosperity. Narayan, the dharmic principle. Let dharma and artha be together. Let there be prosperity coming, born from dharma. This is something very important, and our rishis understood this long ago. Please remember, we were the first to inform the world that the whole world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Nobody arrived on this except us. We said the whole family, the whole universe is one family. We are one. All of us are expression of the same truth. All of us are expression of the same divinity. So if we are one family, that is why we had a policy in our country, in our culture. In Sanatan Hindu culture, the policy was Atithi Devo Bhava. When somebody unknown walks into your house, treat him as Deva, as a divine visit. The divine has come to your house in this particular form. Take that person as a divine person and take care. Food, etc. is given. We had this because this was our culture. Everybody, not just the humans, all living creatures are expression of that divinity. World needs to understand this well. When we understand this, that the entire universe is one family, expression of the same divine, then practicing dharma and in a dharmic way to bring about artha becomes easy. When we have this division, then a person becomes selfish, looks at the other person separate, and then comes the point of exploitation. One goes out to exploit people, exploiting the other person, exploiting the weak, exploiting the naive, exploiting the gullible, because greed dominates. We have moved away from the basic principle. But today something else is happening. The world around, people are waking up to this fact that the methods which they tried are not working anymore. Capitalism, socialism, the methods they tried, the world tried various things, and they found it is not working. It gives a kind of a relief for a while, but it is not a solution. And they are looking. That's why, one of the very, very important words from our culture has spread across. Most of you know yoga has spread across. Yoga is a very common word. Meditation is another common word. But very interestingly, karma is another word which has become very popular in the world. Every other dictionary has accepted this word karma. And today people are talking across the world about karma. In their little understanding of karma is, that's the beginning, that's very, very important. In their little understanding of karma is, my own action, I'm getting what I want because I deserve it, it has come to me. I deserve this, therefore it comes to me, good or bad. So this word karma is becoming popular, and now it is slowly being brought into management lessons. Many, many management gurus in India and abroad are using words like dharma and karma in their basic management principles. Why? Because then this thought is coming in that we need to remain with values. So Indian approach, the Hindu approach was always Lakshmi Narayan module. Wealth generated with dharmic principles. Now this is what here he is asking, Narad Rishi is asking Yudhishthir, your forefathers managed it. Are you taking care of it? Because in governance, that is the hardest. That is the highest practical implementation the king should try. Keep dharma and artha together. Let there be prosperity, but let it come from dharma. Any king who manages to do it, that king has succeeded. This is the hardest. Now, friends, I have tried with asking this question to many people. Name some successful people. Name few successful people. In most other meetings, when I have asked this question, people would say Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar, Abdul Kalam, Ambani, and the name goes, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and they name few names which are very popular. These people have equated success with popularity. That is not success. Please understand. Popularity is not success. Popular in a good way is also not complete success. There are so many people who are extremely popular in a good way, but personally in their life was a tragedy. Charlie Chaplin, world famous, can just walk. What an actor, a genius in the field of acting, but unhappy in life. Vincent van Gogh, extremely successful as an artist, but his life was so difficult. People considered he was depressed all life. There are so many people who are very popular in the world on the positive, but their personal life was very bad. Our yardstick of success should be not popularity. Is your mother living a life of dharma? And did she manage artha well? Did your father manage dharma and artha well in your family? Then they have lived a dharmic life. They are successful. Let us shift this concept of success, false value of success, what we have. Those who are popular are successful. No. Those who are dharmic and with dharmic values, who manage wealth, is successful. This is substance. From glamour, if we can shift our focus to substance, I tell you, we serve the nation better, the world better. Today, the focus is on glamour. All those who are popular, glamour, we go after. And the route to glamour may be dharmic. Some people have come, some could have gone to adharmic. But a local school headmaster or the postman who comes and delivers mails to you could have led a life of dharma and managed his artha in the righteous way. That man is successful because he lived a life of substance. So we should know. Let us start looking around us. People who are living a life of dharma, people who are living a life of dharma and who manage artha well, we must regard saying, here are the noble people. They may not be known to the world around. They may not be known even in there. They all could be unknown citizens. But in your world, if they are there, start looking at them. They are the people we should know to emulate. They are the people we should inspire. And they are the people we must respect. Dharma and artha. Because this idea of dharma and artha in Indian management systems from ancient times to now comes from that this Atman in me is the Atman everywhere. The self in me is the self everywhere. So the whole universe is one family. Though we bring this in our regular prayer, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu, though we bring this in our regular prayer, we need to understand how to implement it more. Let me tell you this. Loka in Sanskrit also means realm of experience. It is called world, and also another thing called realm of experience. So what is your world? What is your realm of experience? The world could be too huge universe, and sitting there and praying to the entire universe, let the whole universe be happy, looks very abstract. People are not able to connect to that prayer. So let us break that concept of universal prayer. Let us break it using the same line, Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, to the small world in which we live. Your world. What is your world? What is your life revolving around is your world. Your family, friends, the community where you work, the office, what you do. In that loka, for people living in that loka, pray for them. Pray for them. In your prayer, just say, the people who are here, let them all be happy, because there is some connect. You know them somewhere or other. May not be related to you, but you know there could be some kind of an acquaintance. Pray. This will expand. So basic, simple policy would be, whenever you sit for prayer, pray for the people in that small loka of yours. It could be a person who comes and gives you tea every day. One day, why can't you include that tea vendor, the person who comes and offers tea in your prayer? Pray for that person today. It could be the sweeper who comes and cleans your road early morning, the corporation worker. Some days you see that person. One day you pray for that person. Include. In every day when you pray, make sure for every selfish prayer, make sure you pray 2 selfless prayers. This will make us expand. And to whom am I praying? In that small loka where I live. It could be the auto rickshaw driver in the road corner. It could be someone bringing you vegetables daily. It could be anybody living around you in that small world of yours. Pick up one person and pray for that person's well-being along with your prayer. If there are 3 selfish prayers you make to the Lord on a particular day, then there should be 6 selfless prayers. And who are the 6 selfless prayers? They can be anybody who are there in that small world of yours, known to you, or you would have seen them. Call, invoke them, invoke goodness for them. This is Hindu culture. This way, when we start, slowly in that small world, you start identifying yourself that everyone in that small world is to the Lord. They are expressions of the Lord. Once that it becomes to expand to microcosm level. We can easily expand to the whole world. Hindu rishis had this idea. That's why Hindu economic system, Hindu well-being system is always Lakshmi Narayan module. Wealth and values together. Dharma and Artha together. This is what Narad is asking. Hey Yudhishthir, are you taking care? Do you follow the undecaying actions followed by your grandfathers, your ancestors who lived before you to bring Dharma and Artha to the human beings? They have lived. So we should understand it's not an economic policy we are talking today. This is the most practical economic policy, because the whole world needs to live together, live and let live. And this is what our rishis had. This module of Lakshmi Narayan and seeing the world as one family is very important for our development. And it is really, really nice that the world is waking up to these sights, these insights. They've just made a beginning because they tried everything. Imagine the world wars we had. Imagine the wars. Imagine the attack, going and grabbing another nation, taking up somebody's land. All kinds of things people tried and they found nothing is working. Now these words, Dharma, is becoming part of management lessons in the leading management schools, business schools. The word karma has got into the business schools. Can you imagine the word Dharma and karma has entered the business management? Because people believe that righteousness is important in management, values are important in management, false values are not allowed. And if what we do in some time will come back to me, so let me do good. These policies which are coming will start making us look at everybody as one family, and we will not exploit humanity. The Hindu economic policy, the Hindu economic module is the whole world is one family. Let there be Dharma and Artha together, Lakshmi Narayan together. This is what Narad Rishi is asking Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir, are you taking care of this? Because this is very, very important. Are you taking care of it? Because here, basically what Narad is trying to do with Yudhishthir is ask few questions to Yudhishthir, basically to say, are you paying attention to it? This is important. Are you aware of it? If you are aware of it, you will take care of it. So that was the question he asked him. Are you taking care of it? Your forefathers lived like that. Hopefully you are managing the same thing in the same spirit, bringing Dharma and Artha to your people. This is what he's asking. Are you taking care of bringing values and fortune, prosperity and wealth to your people? This is good governance. Chanakya, Chandragupta combination had this. Chanakya stuck to the values. Once he established the kingdom, he said, these are the values. What is the value for a state to the king, etc. And Chandragupta implemented it. That is one of those beautiful ages of India, a golden era where Dharma, Artha went together. After a long struggle, imagine what happened. At Chanakya's time, the first invasion started. Alexander and the people came, invaded. And then he has to raise an army like Chandragupta, block and show, and united the different small kingdoms who thought they were separate from Bharat. Bharat was one country. Geographically, Bharat was one nation. And so he brought them together. And this is the job he did. And that was an age, era where we had these two principles based on that. Please understand, I'm talking economic to you. Based on Dharma and Artha combination, India had one of the largest GDPs even 1,000 years ago. Even in the 10th and the 11th century, our GDP was 28, 29, 30, 32% of the world. Principles were only this, Dharma and Artha. And India went across, traveled high seas, because we were doing a lot of sea trade. Since we were traveling so much across, on these principles we went, made good friendship, brought wealth to the nation, not exploiting, but mutually respecting, sharing. This Lakshmi Narayan module, which is a Hindu economic way, which was extremely successful in the world. Even 1,000 years ago, we were around 30-32% of economic progress in the world as far as GDP is concerned. Even 200 years ago, we were 24 or 25% of the world GDP. Hindu economic module, Lakshmi Narayan, Artha and Dharma combined. It is only last 200 years we landed up into poverty. We went into all this. So our idea was always that Vasudeva Kutumbakam, everybody should live life well. And there should be prosperity for everybody, and it should come from the principles of Dharma. If the world has to have a better future, the Hindu policy of economy has to be considered. This Dharma and Artha combined. This is what Narad Rishi was asking. And in our life also, personally, in our life, please understand, let the wealth come from Dharma so that there is no karmic effect. Why incur karma unnecessarily, hurting somebody, cheating somebody? Nobody can dodge karma. Nobody can dodge karma. Karma will find us. So it is better, keeping this in mind, for our own good, we must use Lakshmi Narayan module only of wealth and Dharma together. So personally also, when we develop and progress, these two stays with us. So, having seen, and we go to the next question, Here, Rishi Narad is asking a very nice question. He's asking, hey Yudhishthir, I want you to know, do you hurt Dharma by Artha? Or do you hurt Artha by Dharma? Or both for the sake of Kama? Do you hurt? See the question, huh? What? I mean, imagine everybody thought Narad Rishi is one person who will come and only say Narayan, Narayan, because he's been portrayed always like that. And here he's talking about Rajniti, science of economy, politics, and he's making Yudhishthir sit there in the court in front of all the other kings who have assembled. He is asking these questions. And what is the question? Do you hurt Dharma by Artha? For the sake of Artha, is Dharma harmed? Or sometimes for Dharma, are you harming Artha? Or sometimes there are people, when they are extremely selfish and they only want their selfish gratifications, kama predominance, kama predominance, then they give up both. Both Dharma and Artha gets hurt for kama. Are you aware of this? Is this happening in your kingdom? Are you able to check on this? This is the question on governance. And in our personal life also, we should keep this in mind. Do we compromise Dharma for Artha? Artha, wealth. Dharma, righteousness, values, law of being, what it is, dharmic. Do we compromise Dharma for Artha? Question, introspection. We should sit and introspect. Have I compromised Dharma for Artha? Means, did I choose a false way for cultivating Artha by keeping Dharma at the backyard? And there are some people who are so strict in their dharmic understanding, that is less informed only. They hold on to it, not understanding Dharma fully. Dharma is very subtle to understand. So sometimes they hold on to certain principles so strong, thinking that is their Dharma, and Artha gets hurt by it, by unnecessarily being stubborn on a on one ray of Dharma, figment of Dharma, not the whole Dharma. Like, for example, in the Mahabharata war, a smaller king challenges Arjuna, saying, come, fight with me. A smaller king challenges Arjuna. It's a ploy, actually. It's their game plan, strategy, so that that smaller king can take Arjuna far away, so Drona can go and capture Yudhishthir. Now, when a smaller king challenged, you are in a war, Bhima tells Arjuna, don't go after him, not worth it. Krishna says, do you want to go after this? Because that guy was provoking. The smaller king was provoking. So Arjuna immediately said, it is my dharma. When a Kshatriya is being challenged, Kshatriya has to respond. I cannot avoid him. He is challenging. I want to, it is my dharma. Now you misunderstood your dharma there. The dharma there is not to give up on Yudhishthir, to stay there and guard Yudhishthir, not run after a smaller king. But he thought that was his dharmic principle and he held on to it. And therefore Krishna never interferes into anybody's dharma or karma. He only guides and saying, I have told you, you do what you feel like. Even in the end of the Bhagavad Gita, that's what Krishna says. I have told you what is to be told. Now you do what you feel right. So Krishna said, I thought I should tell you, but if you are keen on going, yes, we'll go. He took the chariot. And that king took Arjuna far away. And this side, before Arjuna could return, Abhimanyu died. This was the stubbornness of Arjuna, holding on to what he understood as dharma. And not only that, and next moment, after seeing Arjuna's death, when he got to know it is Jayadratha Abhimanyu's death, Arjuna understood it is Jayadratha who was responsible. Arjuna comes up with a vow, takes a vow saying, tomorrow before sunset, I will kill Jayadratha or kill myself. Now you please think. This was not required. Now that you have given your word, now you think it is your dharma to follow. I have given my word. I have to follow at the cost of what? Had Jayadratha ran away from the battlefield, Arjuna has to die next day, not fulfilling his word. So we should understand, sometimes so stubbornly we hold on to one fragment of dharma and thinking that is dharma, and that can hurt prosperity. It can hurt progress. We need to have this clarity. That's why the best advice the rishis have given, please understand, when you have a conflict between what is dharma and adharma, and you need to take a call but you're not very sure, the rishis say, go meet a wise person in your village, in your town. Go meet a wise person. Talk to him, discuss with him, and then decide. Because this confusion can be there. Because you can't put a law. Because this is dharma. Once you give your word, you have to keep up. That is dharma. When someone challenges you, it is dharma. But in a war, it is a different situation. That challenge itself can be a ploy. You must be careful not to fall for it. So sometimes people hold on to such things, to that dharma principle they hold, by which their own progress gets hurt. Imagine Arjuna is called Dhananjaya. Imagine if Arjuna was dead in that Mahabharat war, that he committed suicide because he could not kill Jayadratha. Krishna has to interfere again. Otherwise, what is the progress? Wealth would have suffered because of this one wrong understanding of a fragment of dharma. Dharma has to be understood holistically. That's why when there is doubt on understanding dharma, you must always consider a wise person in your village, in your town, in your neighborhood, somebody known to you. Discuss with them, with one or two people, so that you get clarity. Then take an action. Because dharma can be very, very confusing. And there are people, isn't it? So many people who hurt dharma for artha. There is one movie, if possible, you watch it today. Some of you would have watched it already. This is called The Light Bulb Conspiracy. It's there on the YouTube. The Light Bulb Conspiracy. Watch this movie. It's a movie when the first time the bulb was made. 100 years ago, when the bulb was made, the filament in the bulb was made so strong that it may last for 10,000 hours. Can you imagine? A bulb is made with a filament which can last for 10,000 hours. No, they made it. Beautiful success. You buy bulb once in your lifetime. That will be there. 10,000 hours. Now, all the businessmen of that time, the corporate world, felt this is not good. We should make people buy bulbs often, reduce its goodness, reduce its quality, compromise. And they started deliberately making bulbs which would come for 1,000 hours or 500 hours. Only it will last. It will die. Imagine you made a product which can have such a lifelong effect, but it is gone and now it is only 500 hours. Deliberately making something defective. Dharma is gone. Artha is dominating. Dharma is getting compromised by the greed for artha. And there is one bulb which is still on somewhere in California. And they celebrate the birthday of that bulb more than 100 years because it's still on working. So watch that movie. There you will understand the corporate greed. Compromising on dharma, on dharmic principles for artha. We should understand dharma should not be compromised for artha. Dharma is something which will bring life. So these kind of small things in our own life, we should make sure that I don't compromise dharma for artha, for wealth, for small petty things. Dharma should not be given up. Why? Because Once we start compromising on dharma, we will not know where to draw a line. We will be slipping down further, and adharmic way of life can become a very natural way of living. So we should keep this in mind. Don't give up dharma for artha, and sometimes don't hurt artha with one aspect of dharma, understanding one, holding on to it. Progress, prosperity is also important. Use the intelligence correctly. And then he says, sometimes there are people who give up both. Do you hurt dharma and artha, or artha by dharma, or both for the sake of kama? For the sake of dharma, artha, kama. For the sake of kama, do you compromise on artha and dharma? Is it not true? Deeply a desire is written and you feel it is very important. You must have that desire somehow fulfilled and you feel you want it. Where are the values? Both are compromised. How many people have lost their entire wealth for some pleasure? For kama, the entire artha is lost. Gambling. You get something you feel you'll get and gone. How many people for pleasure have lost their properties, wealth gone? So we should understand, for kama, should I compromise on dharma and artha? This is a question Narad is asking Yudhishthir. Think about it. Because Yudhishthir, there are people who compromise dharma for artha. There are people, or the same person may at another point of time compromise artha for dharma. And there could be a time when you may give up both for kama, because the power of kama is powerful. The desire is powerful. Therefore, one may do. So he's saying, Yudhishthir, this area you should pay attention. Then the governance is great. Leadership is great. Because the leadership is interested in the well-being of everybody. The leadership is interested in the well-being of everyone, not personal glory, not personal gratification. So if these principles are strong, one would never compromise dharma or artha for kama. So Narad is telling Yudhishthira, be aware. Is these compromises are made. If they make, then the leadership is not good. You're falling down. Are you aware? Are you taking care that you are practicing this in your kingdom? Your subjects are practicing this in your kingdom. Not just the king. The king should be a model to inspire others down the line to practice, to implement. Same thing as you, as a member of your family, must be an inspiration to the others in your family to live a life like this. A person who does not compromise on dharma and artha has a great standard of life. The one who makes compromise may find standard of living. Standard of living. How many of us run after standard of living, compromising the quality of life? Fallen life, compromised life, having high standard of living. For what? And that we see success, isn't it? We call that success. High standard of living is success. No. There could be a cobbler living a standard of life. That is success. May not have everything. A school teacher may not have everything. Would have produced wonderful children living a noble life. Standard of life. So when we hold on to dharma and artha, dharma basically, our standard of life would be very high. We will not allow kama to dominate dharma. Dharma should be dharmically what you can be happy with, you can be happy. And there are so many ways to be happy. We discussed it already. Harmless pleasures. Thousands and thousands of ways the Lord has created us not to, created us to stay harmlessly happy. Continuing further, now comes a very nice question. He puts a question to Yudhishthir. He says, Yudhishthir, do you always divide your time equally to serve, to the service of Artha, Dharma and Kama. Are you giving your time equally for Dharma, Artha, Kama? In fourfold Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, fourth one is Moksha. For these three things, are you giving equal time? Are you giving? Because you and I, as a human, when we have taken birth, why have we taken birth? Why are we born? Why are we living here? What is the driving force for our birth? What is that question? What is the reason for which we are born? What is our driving force for this birth? Why have I manifested? Why am I here? This question is important. When we start examining this question, we will know I have come here because of my own vasana and my own karma. My vasana, the unfulfilled desires which I have stored in my memory, has brought me to this manifestation, and also based on my karma. Vasana and karma combination, we are born. Now, when we live here, we should know to exhaust them well. We should know to exhaust them well, exhaust them in such a way that there is no karmic effect. If any vasana is exhausted dharmically, there won't be karmic effect. Please remember, a vasana which is exhausted well, dharmically, will not have a karmic effect. So we are here to exhaust our vasanas and exhaust our karma. So let us do it intelligently. So he says, give equal importance for dharma, artha and kama, because that desire has to exhaust. But exhaust that desire rooted in dharma. This is the point. This is the intelligent way of living life. All your desires may all be fulfilled, but based on dharma. If a desire doesn't fit into the matrix of dharma, drop that desire. Grow out of it, sublimate it, transcend it. But those desires which come under the matrix of dharma, exhaust them beautifully. Let it be exhausted so that that urge in each one will not be there to do that again, to live that again. Because that's why we are born. That vasana in us has to be exhausted. In the process of exhausting vasana, holding on with dharma, then we don't create new karma, and seeking the Lord, the higher, we fulfill our life. That is moksha. So if I practice dharma correctly, bring in artha, give time for prosperity, which gives me the bandwidth to enjoy life well, kama. Doing all this, the vasana gets exhausted and I can pursue the Lord easily, moksha. So he has not asked, are you giving equal time for dharma, artha, kama, moksha? Narad did not ask that. Narad asked, are you giving equal time for dharma, artha and kama? Moksha word is not included. Why? Because moksha, you can't give time, equal time for moksha. Please understand. Moksha is a urge continuously there in you. It is a feeling, it is a want, it is mumukshutvam, which is throughout. Somebody asked my guru, Swami Chinmayananji, they asked him, Swamiji, how much time should I meditate in a day? Very simple question, isn't it? How much time should I meditate in a day? And my guru said, 24 hours. How much time should I meditate in a day? Only 24 hours. What do you mean only 24 hours? How do I meditate 24 hours in a day? He explained. He said your half an hour meditation in the morning depends upon how you lived the rest of the 23.5 hours. That 20-30 minutes meditation, what you do tomorrow morning, would depend upon how you lived today. So a mumukshu, a seeker, is round-the-clock seeker. He is seeking God through dharma, through artha, and exhausting kama. exhausting karma, generating artha, and living dharma. The vasanas are exhausted, but he's seeking God that way. Anybody doing that kind of a life, we must consider that person as the really evolved among the humans. That person has lived the life the best. It is that noble life which should be our way of life. It is that noble life which we must keep. And then he asks another very different question. It is here we would be stunned by Narad's insights. Narad says, he puts this question here, do you use your 6 royal qualities to judge the 7 means? That's the question. We'll decipher what it is. Narad is asking Yudhishthir, hey Yudhishthir, do you use your 6 royal qualities to judge the 7 means? Now, first let us understand what are the 7 means. Somebody can try on you, somebody can attack on you, somebody can approach you with that. What are the 7 means? 4, I'm sure most of us know. Sama, Dhana, Danda, Bheda. Sama, Dhana, Bheda, Danda. We know what this means. First is talking nicely to people, trying to convince people with a sweet talk. If that person is not ready to listen, the art of negotiation, the art of implementation. The second would be giving some incentives, some gift, some incentive you give, saying, for this, maybe it is that incentive can be the carrot. A person may come forward, may agree and settle down the dispute. Sweet talk, if that doesn't work, incentives. If that doesn't work, beda, fear. Talk tough, say things and understand, let that person understand it is tough, being tough. And that can generate fear. Therefore, a person may give in. So this is another approach, means people have. Sweet talk, incentives, talking tough, generating fear. If this doesn't work, danda, take the stick and punish. Give a knock here or there. People would give in. These are 4. Narad says there are 3 more. And what are they? He says the 6th one is Maya. Maya here means clever cunningness. If this doesn't work, a person may become cunning. Maya can apply tricks on you. Trick that person to listen to what you want. If there are people who want to approach you, these are some of the methods they will do. Sweet talk, incentives, fear, punishment, tricks. Maya here is trick. And the next one he says is upeksha. Upeksha means neglect. Ignore that person. Is it not true? You want something or somebody wants something from you, and some small fight or whatever, you start ignoring that person. What happens? You see the understanding? When you start ignoring how much it hurts the other person, or when you feel ignored, how it hurts you? Ignore, neglect, ignore a person, upeksha, neglect. This is also another means. There are people who will turn. Imagine this is not just for the individual. It can be a country. Sweet talks don't work. Incentives don't work. Tough discussions, fear doesn't hold. A small war doesn't happen. Economically ignore, ban them, neglect them, separate them, isolate them. People will turn around, isn't it? Different means, neglect. Tricks, neglect. And the last one Narad says is Indrajal. Sama, Dhana, Danda, Beda, Upeksha, Maya, Indrajal. Indrajal is magic. Black magic. Using mind power over others. Hypnotism, various things. These are the means by which people will attack a person for their selfishness. These are the means of different levels of negotiations people have. If they want something, these are the ways they will approach. So here is asking, do you use the 6 royal qualities? The 6 royal qualities, we'll see what they are, to judge the 7 means. These are the 7. Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda, Maya, Upeksha, and Indrajal. 7. These are the 7 approaches people will have. It is true in our life also, isn't it? When the first one is not happening, sweet talk is not happening, incentives don't work, tough discussions happen, that doesn't work, fear, nothing works, punishment also, neglect, tricks. Then are there not people try and go and meet a astrologer, a tantric, and try to work some spells to create a kind of a thing, make the other person mentally weak, black magic, Udo, all that you see, how much is there in the world? People adopt these kind of things. Whether they are effective or not is a different question. If it is effective or not, it depends upon how strong an individual is. But they can have. So these are the methods people try to take. So he says, are you well versed in your 6 royal qualities to judge these 7 means? So we saw the 7. Now what are the 6 royal qualities? He says here, cleverness of speech. A king, a leader should know to talk intelligently. This is called art of negotiation. What you negotiate when you sit across your business partner, you sit across a client, you sit across with somebody, what you negotiate. It is called art of negotiation. You should know to understand which of the 7 this person is approaching. Which method is he taking? You should be well versed and you should know to talk sweetly, speak gently, speak sweetly, be firm on what you speak. Saying things, being firm, but saying it pleasantly is a great art of negotiation. A king must have it. A leader must have it. Art of negotiation. How you sit and negotiate. And when you negotiate, you make sure that your negotiation, the other person turns around and accepts what you want. So the king should know this. Art of negotiation. Readiness in providing resources. A king should have resources. Providing means all of a sudden a situation can come. It could be emotional challenge. It could be physical challenge. It could be geographical challenge. It could be cultural challenge. It could be scarcity in the kingdom. It could be anything which is generated. Do you know, when the colonial rule happened, they created a famine in India. When the Indians start writing history, all this will come out. Today, it's different people write our books, so these things are not come out. Certain areas, famine was created, food stock was exported, and people living in this country did not have food to eat because it was all sent away. Famine was created. So a king should know all kinds of things can come. You must have resources to deal with. Constantly, a leader should check on his resources. What are the strengths you have? What is the resources you have? Check on the resources. Readiness to provide, in providing the means. A good king will plan according to his resources. A good leader will plan based on his resources. What is your strength? Plan accordingly. And to your expansion, what you have, your strength should be enough to reach. The means should be there. So the second point, first is art of negotiation. Second one is readiness. The king should be well equipped to provide. Isn't it, when this suddenly corona came up, all of a sudden, we must appreciate the Indian system. I'm not talking only the government, the Indian system, the cultural system which existed in us. Nobody starved. Even the migrant workers, if you have traveled across, you will know food was provided. Somebody or other gave food. System. So you must know readiness to provide should be there. The king should know. All of a sudden, any challenge can come. You should be ready to stand up. You should have the resources. Keep the resources always on, so that you have the resources to plan, you have the resources to expand, you have the resources to defend, you have the resources to maintain. All this can happen. The king should be always ready with his resources. The third point is intelligence in dealing with the enemy. The king must be well informed. The leader must be well informed about his opponents. Who are his opponents? What is their strength? Well informed. You must be intelligent in dealing with the enemy. Being intelligent to deal with the enemy. More on this we will take up. We saw 3 points: art of negotiation, readiness in providing the resources to different challenges, and the third point we just touched is intelligence in dealing with the enemy. There are 3 more, 6 royal qualities that we will discuss tomorrow. Back to Anant. No, Harsha. Back to Harsha. Yeah.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Today has been a really interesting and very heavy session, and we really enjoyed, and I think we need to ruminate so much more and think about what has been told. So we just understand that we have to find joy in practicing dharma. Wealth and value should always go together like Lakshmi and Narayana. We have to redefine the parameters of success, live a dharmic life and manage artha well. Understand dharma holistically, don't hurt dharma and don't hurt anything because for karma, that is the one of the worst things that we can do. And I think the whole talk has been only key points. So I'm not able to get key points also because everything is so beautiful. But be an inspiration to your family. You set the standard, and then you see to that you become an inspiration for everybody. And this was amazing. The art of negotiation and 7 ways how people can approach you and how you deal with it. So thank you so much, Swamiji. And we're really looking forward to see it again tomorrow. And I think there is just one announcement. So can we? Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so Chinmay Mission has come up with this amazing initiative. It's called World Chants Gita for Peace, Inspiration and Action. It is happening on the 25th of December 2020. And since the year is 2020, and it's been a tough year, but also an amazing year where we've gone inwards a lot more. So we are going to chant 20 verses from chapter 12 and 20 verses from chapter 15. And all of us are going to come together and do this beautiful thing. The links will be posted very soon. So please keep yourselves free, mark your calendars. And thank you so much. Now back to you, Swamiji, for the prayer.
Right.
Thank you.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. See you tomorrow, 6 p.m.
Thank you so much. Hari Om.